On this episode of The Night Crew, we take you to a small cemetery in Lancaster County, Virginia. Hans Grof is ironically named for someone who isn't even buried there. However, many of his descendants are. The small, secluded burial place is surrounded by a low stone wall forming a perfect square. Decrepit headstones and patches of grass present a grim edifice and lure the visitors into a secluded enclosure. The legend surrounding Hans Grof involves a white wolf appearing to drive away outsiders, but only after they've circled the cemetery wall on foot 7 times or 3 times backwards. There's not much more to say about this short episode of The Night Crew, led by one of our out-of-town investigators, Keiden, but we've sourced a quick poem by writer Joseph Estlack, written after his walk around the cemetery. Within This God's Acre by Joseph Estlack. Hans Grof was a pioneer. He founded part of Pennsylvania. He came from Switzerland in the 1600s when Europe was peaking in witch hunts and werewolf trials. The wild and free had no choice but to escape. Here they came. Hans is one of them. Grof's Run is a stream named after him. The train goes to Philadelphia by way of a path he blazed. His church is still active. His name appears repeatedly on official parchments. He made Shock Cemetery, within which his family lays. Whoever says his canine shape still guards their graves is wrong. He haunts all of Lancaster. Those tricks to summon him only work if you're an enemy to the freedom he sought. Since him, more beasts have come. Along with them, more paths, more places, more documents. It has been a bloodbath. Full moons were prevalent in the 17 and 1800s. Around these parts, I can hear a chorus of ghoulish evils howling once a month. James Buchanan, Thaddeus Stevens. Beware the vampire, Milton Hershey. He still passes the curse wrapped in a teardrop. This area is a convention of monsters. They chewed out the boundaries of an entire nation. I sleep soundly to the things going bump in my night. My children have no reason to be scared. Their claws are not clipped. They are the things under beds and in closets. The future of paranormal is theirs. For some, this whole country is a living nightmare. We hope you enjoy this episode. I am Carolyn Nicolls, and we are The Night Crew.
Hey, I'm Dutch Jackson, co-founder of The Night Crew. We have with us our Vancouver branch president, Keiden.
Oh, president.
How do you say your last name?
Stamoulis. It's so Greek.
Yeah, I say it for the camera because I'm not going to try that.
Hey, I'm Keiden Stamoulis, member of The Night Crew down in Portland. So technically Vancouver, but gonna be covering Portland.
That's our satellite branch. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, Keiden just went on a little East Coast adventure.
Did.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that? Where'd you go?
So, it was actually kind of a second afterthought. I'd planned the trip and then was like, oh, wait, there's a little graveyard right around the corner from my partner's place, and I'm going to be there for a night. So the Hans Grof Cemetery in Marietta, Pennsylvania, is a really interesting little cemetery. There's no gate. There's no entrance. There's just a wall around the entire cemetery.
Like
it's small. It depends on which side, because it's a very hilly area. Okay. So I think its tallest would probably be 5.5 feet, and then like 3 feet in some other places.
How old is this cemetery?
late 1700s, I think, were the
so it's
first some of the graves, and then the most recent
so before
death date was like
before the
50s.
Revolutionary War.
Before the Revolutionary
Nice.
War, a decent number of the headstones are in German. Yeah, no, the Hans Graf Cemetery, a lot of the headstones are in German.
Mm-hmm.
Hans Graf isn't actually buried in the cemetery with his namesake. It's
That's
for
weird.
the descendants of, and I can't really locate where
His
this
grave is?
legend came from. No, his grave is locatable. It's in another part of Pennsylvania, like not too far, but he is not
This is like
buried
the summer
there.
cemetery. He's over here in the highfalutin cemetery.
Yeah.
Sorry, my Arkansas was showing there for a second.
No
Anyways.
worries. But in the 80s, I found an article written in the 80s about this guy's experience kind of exploring the cemetery. And there's a legend that if you walk around the cemetery 7 times during a full moon, you will not live to see the morning because a white wolf or a werewolf will come get you. The legend is that Hans Graf placed a curse on the cemetery so people wouldn't mess with it. I did walk around the cemetery 7 times.
And still here to tell about it.
Still here to talk about it. And I don't think it was exactly the full moon, but it was in that like 3-day window.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think there's 3 days of the full moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was in that window. It was cloudy that day, but could not see it. And again, this cemetery isn't that big. Slightly larger than this room here. Just slightly.
This room's what, about a 20 by 15? Yeah. So it's like a 20 by 20 graveyard.
Yeah. There were definitely a couple like child's graves, not older than 20. And I was able to find a website that actually identified all of the gravestones.
I'm excited to go over the footage, see what you got. Did you happen to go over any of the audio by chance?
I was not able to go through the audio. I completely forgot about audio recording during the Hans Graf investigation. But because I made that mistake once, don't think I'm going to make it again.
Hi, my name is Keiden. Welcome to the night crew. And right over there we've got a railroad track, and then a little farther beyond that is the Susquehanna. Thanks again for letting us come in and exploring the Hans Graf Cemetery. All right, we're coming up on the cemetery now. It's close to the full moon, but not quite a full moon. And it's raining a little bit, so we're getting a lot of little raindrops. But so some of the stories I read online talk about a curse that was placed on this cemetery. And to invoke the curse, you walk around the perimeter 7 times, and then the white wolf is supposed to come take you before morning. So we might try that out tonight. It's gonna be the best way to sit up here. I'm gonna start with offerings. All right, gonna start by walking around 7 times. Got a railroad track that runs not too far from here. Got a train passing through. Can't see. What are we at, 3? Left this little pyramid here. It is solved. So if it gets touched, we should be able to see that. Crumbling right here. Now, I didn't really get any high ratings on this earlier. Yeah, 0.05 is like the highest it's going.
Yeah, it's about as high as it was.
But I'm going to have you hold on to that to look at.
Nope. 0.07 for a hot minute.
Yeah, like phones, metals. Had it jump up when I had my hand in front of it. Alright, let's see. Check out these apps. So I've got one of the Ghost Hunter apps. And I haven't really played around with it that much, so learning curve. Hello, family of Hans Grof, descendants and relatives. Hans Grof is not buried in this cemetery, but it is said that you placed a curse on this cemetery. Is that true? Is there a curse on this cemetery? Is there anyone here that would like to say hi? Can give us a sign in some way, can use battery from the lights to give you energy. Huh. Use battery from the lights to give you energy. Huh. Use battery from the lights to give you energy. Huh.
Okay.
Okay, well, you got some energy. We left that toy over on the front wall. You can change that to let us know that you're here. Oh, I also have this other flashlight. This green laser. And you can twist it. Well, let's not have that out there. Makes it look like a whole bunch of orbs on the ground. It'll get confusing.
I don't even know what
And the rain doesn't help either.
What am I twisting?
You can just hit the button at the back, and you can put it down you can go ahead and set it on the ground, and if someone wants to put the flashlight on the ground, and if someone wants to turn that on, they can. Nick. So Tom and Nick.
That jumped to 0.08 there for a minute.
Oh, if you were holding it by
What?
if it was by the flashlight or by the phone. Got Tom, Nick. Is there a Nick here that would like to let us know something? Are you all happy here? Are you content with your resting spot? It is a lovely little plot of land out here in Marietta, Pennsylvania, close to the river and the railroad tracks. Hello. Is there anyone here that would like to say hi? Can mess with the toy that I left out, or turn on the flashlight, or manipulate the app that I got open. Hello? Is there anyone there? you need some energy, you can take some from the batteries of the lights. Got that other, look at that. Oh yeah, someone? Someone here?
What's your name?
Are you Tom? Or are you Nick? You one of the descendants of Hans Grof? Rain doesn't go up. A couple of little dots. Rain doesn't go up. Is there someone here that would like to let us know something? If you have a part of your story that you'd like to share? Heads of families. So worn. It's hard to see names on most of them. Oh, I can read the last name. Smith. What did it say?
Archek?
Archek. don't know if this is a gravestone that fell over or was knocked over. Disturbed in some way. And it looks like there was one here and isn't anymore. Right next to... Hey, here in the cemetery. I left a flashlight out for them to play with. It's gone. They fucking stole my flashlight. Dutch. They stole my flashlight. So last night during the investigation, we set a flashlight down on the ground, and then when we went to clean up, we couldn't find it. It wasn't where we had set it down on the ground. The weather wasn't enough to really move it on its own. Even though it was raining a little bit, there wasn't a lot of wind. Kind of kicked around the ground. If it got covered by leaves or something, still couldn't find it. So gonna take a walk back today and see if it's popped up and if it's in the same spot or in a different spot. I don't know, but gonna go find out. All right, walking back up to the cemetery in the daylight. And then over here, and the flashlight got put down here-ish. Just a bunch of sticks. Found it!
Yay.
Found the flashlight. But so that was covered in a bunch of leaves. So easy to lose things in the dark. But so no werewolf sightings. No barking while we were in here. It was close to the full moon, but not exactly the full moon.
Just some friendly food to let grow.
Yes, they did poured some offerings off camera last night, and when I asked if they wanted more, they didn't say yes, but manipulated the spirit box to make like a turn on, a power on kind of sound. So thanks again for checking out this video. I want to thank everyone at the night crew. Thank you, Dutch, for setting me up with all this gear. And um, having you sponsor the night crew and all of our shenanigans. Really appreciate you, Dutch. Love you. Bye.